Let's look into the last game of the day. It's going to be NYYRIKKI versus MNM. Two teams at the bottom of the table. NYYRIKKI needs to win this one if they want to keep fighting for playoffs. MNM cannot afford to lose if they want to run away from relegations. If MNM wins today, they're going to put NYYRIKKI in a place where they might face relegations instead of playoffs. The jump difference we might make out of this. So, Trouble, I'm going to look into you right now.
Trouble, I'm looking into you. Okay.
And I want to understand on this matchup from your eyes as a coach, what would you do on both sides?
On both sides, that's a big question. Okay, so let's say I was coaching MNM, I would first of all incorporate more scaling into the comp. So when I look at MNM's drafts in the past few games, they've been drafting triple low scaling, high priority early games, but then they've been messing the comps up, like the execution. It feels to me like they can't quite pull these like compositions off, and they need a bit more scaling as a leeway in case they mess up, right? They're drafting Jarv and then dying early. It's completely illegal stuff. And as for NYYRIKKI, I think the exact same thing, actually. I think NYYRIKKI should, and this sounds really harsh to say, I think NYYRIKKI should draft scaling and they let MNM beat themselves, because they are kind of messing up their own compositions.
That is a take I was not expecting to get. So, Trouble, I want to look into you, and I want you to talk to me.
Okay.
Me and you right now.
I thought you were going to say Aragon. I'm looking into you.
Aragon. I'm looking at Trouble to understand the bot lane. Between both bot lines, I need to understand what can we expect from these guys.
Okay, I think I might be a little bit biased because Azita and Mishigu are two of my favorite bot laners in the league altogether. I think especially for Mishigu, he's gone so underappreciated. And I know we have a lot of talent pool when it comes to the marksmen in the NLC, but I feel like this guy bringing in Ziggs, bringing in Enchanters, bringing in the mages, bringing in the hyper carries, the AD carries in the early, the hyper scaling ones in the late game, the Ezreals to stay safe and play weak side. I feel this guy has gone above and beyond to cater for his team whatever they need, and he will always deliver. And the same thing goes for Azita. We've spoken highly of Azita season after season, spring and now summer. This guy said, you know what, I really like my Jinx and Affiliate says it's a really cool meta, but now I want to transition. I want to play for the early game. And that's where he brought in the Lucian. That's where he brought in his Kalista. And his Kalista, might I say, looks really, really freaking scary. I think it's B1 pickable, and it makes it work.
Now that you know how it works, Aragon, I would like you to start the champion select.
Did it start?
It starts.
Wi-Fi?
With a delay. There you go. There you go.
There
He's already known how to have Wi-Fi. I love it. MNM versus NYYRIKKI.
Listen, we're in Germany. The internet's not that great.
It's terrible.
Yes. Yes. NYYRIKKI versus MNM, 3-11 for MNM, NYYRIKKI 5 and 9. Let's jump into this one. Sof versus Lulas, by the way, the new jungler for NYYRIKKI.
Portuguese, by the way.
Portuguese. We have Attila, we have Lulas, we have Arsharam.
Slow. Did you just mention your own name?
We have 3 Portuguese guys.
We have Jaxman, we have Vladdy, we have Troubling. How did that sound?
It sounded bad. It sounded bad.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Lulas.
They banned the Draven. This is fantastic. Okay, so I actually was going to just about to say, but it's unfortunate they banned it already.
Somebody's saying here.
I wanted them to ban Draven because you get the double whammy of banning out Comfort for Mishigu. He's been really prioritizing the Draven recently, and also you open up the Kalista pick. Kalista doesn't really like Draven so much, and banning it opens this up. Now, I expected to see MNM match by banning Kalista as well, but they haven't. So maybe MNM first pick Kalista.
I was about to say either that or they have something up their sleeve. We have seen also the Ash Brom a lot of the times picked into the Kalista just as a neutralizer, but that means that the rest of your map needs to actually carry. They're going to take it away from Azita. Now we need to see Mishigu make it work, right? Because Azita, one of the best.
Banderas.
You got the call out. You got the call out.
Love this guy.
You've been here for like 5 hours and you already have call-outs. I'm just saying.
Do you know how long it took for somebody to hover Katarina? I'm just saying.
An entire season.
All I'll say is I played against Banderas in solo queue recently, and I kind of did beat him on Renekton, so...
Oh, so you traumatized
him. Just show you Renekton in
I love him. He's my boy.
So you traumatized him into hovering your champion. Cool.
He's not afraid. But Renata, though, we're talking about security. What else can you bring with Renata as an AD carry?
I just really like the takeaway away from the Kalista. Renata Kalista, one of the strongest. I keep sounding like a broken record, but there is nothing that beats Renata Kalista level 1, level 2, and level 3. It's
nothing?
Strong, nothing. And you can pair it up with whatever ADC you want, the Renata, because she's one of the strongest bot laners anyway. Now, Kalista can go very well with Amumu. We mentioned the combo, before. You just take him, you throw him into the fight, he butt hits people into CC lockdown heaven. And then now you've mentioned it as well. Yeah. It's something that is very blind pickable.
They need to ban away Swain from Canada, or maybe we have an amazing Wombo combo.
Wombo combo.
Wombo combo. I knew you were going to talk about that. I was like,
we talk about the putrifier.
Look, I love Chimera. He's also my friend. I've got a lot of friends on both teams. I'm so happy with this game. But
now make you pick a side in the end.
I know it's tragic.
You didn't say shout out to you, Sof.
I did at the start.
All right, fine.
But no, I do think Chimera has been struggling on a lot of picks outside of Swain. Something I haven't noticed an analysts say is that he is best on bird champions. If you take a look at his Anivia and Swain, he mains bird champions.
Where's Azir?
He hasn't showed us he's Azir, that's why.
That's true, actually.
We were waiting for the triplet to show up, and then he would be a bird champion player.
But I do think he needs the right matchup. He's been liking Swain into Corki, so maybe if they pick Corki, he can pick Swain into it. But it looks like they're going to be target banning Banderas with the Fiora.
They're not going to remove away the Swain, so they're setting themselves against this massive AoE. Maybe they have something prepared as well for NYYRIKKI. I don't know, trouble.
I think this sets up really well for something like even a Lissandra at this point. Lissandra sets up really well for your jungler, maybe something a little bit more aggressive from Sof. Seeing the Lee Sin being banned away, I think they were banking on the fact that maybe you bring in the Lissandra together with the Lee Sin, and then you have set up in your mid lane, and then you can possibly play towards that bot side of the map. But anything that pretty much roams for Chimera works here. The Swain, if he brings it back, works. It gives so much room and space for the Kalista to play around these team fights. It synergizes so well with the bandit stores from Amumu. Whoever gets caught, gets pulled back, instantly dies. And if you look at NYYRIKKI, they keep picking squishies. If that Jace walks into a fight, he walks a little bit too close, gets queued by the Amumu, he instantly dies.
I'm really hyped to see this Jace counterpick, though. I love Banderas has, to me, been a bit of a chasey light. From my last day there. He's been pulling out these counterpicks, the Darius, the Jace.
Oh.
I've been really enjoying it. The Jarvan, this is what I expected. I expected some, not Jarvan specifically. It's a bit of an odd pick to me, but
it's going to be
early game pressure for Sof is the name of the game. They need to bully through bot lane, transition it into dragons, heralds, everything, and then close out the game. Otherwise, they lose.
So I think a little bit of a misconception is the fact that Jarvan really counters Aphelios and mobile carries. Yes, he does, but that's only when he casually locks them in his ultimate for someone else to kill them. Now someone else needs to be jumping in, and now it works because that someone else jumping in is going to be the Gnar together with the Ahri. Let me remind you how well the Jarvan ult synergizes with the Gnar ult as well. You lock people in, Gnar can shove them into the Cataclysm, and that works because he creates terrain for the Gnar to get his big ultimates. Wombo combo right there. I really like what MNM have drafted on themselves, even though for NYYRIKKI, this is their bread and butter. Play for Azita. Azita one of his best hyper-scaling champions in the late game, which is that Aphelios, and he does have the setup to play these fights with the Renata and with the Lissandra.
I'm gonna do it. Pick a side.
I'm really concerned about the timer that MNM have put themselves on, considering the gameplay in the past few games. I'm going to give it to NYYRIKKI.
NYYRIKKI, okay. What about you?
I'm siding with MNM right here. I just love the draft. It's play all about bota. You've got great mid-jungle synergy. You've got great weak side top lane on the top. Now with Jarvan Ultimate works so well later on when you have so many mobile carries just sitting there like ducks for NYYRIKKI. You hit them, Ahri jumps in. I hope he builds Ludens. I hope he gets the Medjars. I hope he gets the ring. Wait, I hope he gets the ring and the Medjars.
And then the Medjars. Okay, I was so confused right now. I'm just going to let you know that if you win now on the prediction, you win today. And if you win today. So this is going to be an interesting...
All on the line?
It depends on you. It depends on you. As we got the Fox, which is not a bird, in the mid lane. And we got two casters, beautiful to cast this last game of the day. Match day 15, initialized NYYRIKKI. How are you doing?
The Fox is not a bird.
I hope Georgia knows what she's done by bringing the book and the ring up, because now I have to deal with this, which is neither a fox nor a bird nor any other particular word. Well, there are words, but all of them are probably inappropriate for broadcast.
I feel like I should become a poet now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like...
Do tell, I did a lot of that in undergrad.
One ring to snowball them all, one ring
This is an ARAM.
Shush, you, okay. Well, one ring to, I don't know, build AP and in the darkness. Look, I'm not a good poet. Maybe I should stop this.
In the kill count, bind them?
That's maybe you are the poet between us. There we go.
Nanihir Galad Mordor. Quote the very little Elvish I know.
See, the thing is, we don't actually just have 2 towers on the Rift, which really
got quite a lot of them.
buildings. We've actually got more than that. So we've got like we can't even call. Maybe we should just nominate one to be Barad-dûr. That was one of them. Right?
This is the problem of recursive fantasy, where like similar with Star Wars. You know what? We've destroyed a Death Star, let's get a bigger one. We've destroyed 2 towers, let's get some more. What was some new ideas?
Lord of the Rings and the 2 towers. Lord of the Rings and the 3 Oh, there's a 4th one now.
Lord of the Rings and the Field of Towers.
Well, we do have a couple of rings. Of course, they're Doran's rings.
Yeah, they're a little less exciting.
And actually, come 12-14, because of the death of Potts and everything else, maybe that will change everything else.
Right.
But we might see a death of a Sof. Oh my gosh, you've seen them. They didn't even see the bush. They don't have visions like the bush. They don't know this happened.
I have no idea.
Oh, that's great. That's actually wonderful. It's actually timed out as well. They have no clue.
Flags in the dark. They are coming. Somewhere out there, there's a dwarf that's written a missive about this day.
Yeah, you might have realized once we get onto the track of a certain pop culture franchise, the references do keep coming. So if you are not read up on Lord of the Rings, I apologize for what is about to happen to you, not to anyone else, because you're going to love it. As we get on to saying hello to our lovely golem friends in the jungle.
All right, well, we are on chapter 1 concerning the jungle pathing. So they're going to start with blue buffs each and try and path towards opposite sides of the map.
You know what? No, we're not. Sorry. I've chosen to disengage from this line of thought. So we have Aphelios Renata, who don't really want to fight at level 1. Renata is there to make sure Aphelios has a level 1 presence, because he's half a champion at that point. Level 2, he gets very, very scary, of course, with his ultimate, his different abilities unlocking for both of his guns. He only has the phase right now to change between his 2 weapons, whereas Aphelios and Mimi, they are just looking for a weakness in either of these 2. They have wave control, and this is what makes both of those champions on MNM's bot side so dangerous. MNM, of course, do have an early game comp, and they do need to find some advantages in that point of the game. If the game does kind of slow down, you're playing into an Aphelios, you're playing into the Renata ult and Jace having range advantage, you can find yourself in a bit of a tricky situation around those objectives later on.
Bit of a side note, what chroma is that for Ari?
Oh, that is... So, funny enough there, I have myself a skin tier list for Ari.
Oh, do you? I do know that, actually.
60 plus cosmetics in there, and that is the Foxfire chroma, and that's actually the Ariversary chroma. So that's actually the colors of the South Korean flag. But it's the Foxfire skin. So actually every skin which Ari has a chroma in the red, white, and blue colors.
That's really cool. There you go.
Foxfire, of course, being in the S+ best
of
skin
course, it is your favorite.
Top things back off with the skin tier list.
Trades back and forth there with the electrocuting both mid laners. I know, obviously in MSI, we saw this one kind of end up being relatively Lissandra favored, though I know you've said you can play this one out pretty well as Ari, though it requires a certain amount of aggressive trade.
Well, so the thing for me is, so on an individual level, you take electrocute on both these sides. Ari can actually go both ways. You get an extra Q in from the side of Lissandra. Things get a bit awkward if you miss the Q. Another couple of autos get traded from the Ari. These trades snowball very, very quickly because both of these champions are actually very squishy. You can see both sides have popped both pots already. They're trading very, very hard. Chimera actually doing a fairly good job of hitting those edge of those Qs. Aero has the teleport. Chimera doesn't. Of course, they opted in for that cleanse. I actually think this game probably... this is one of those games I would have actually advocated for if you really wanted to. Spellbook plus cooldown boots, because it allows you to get as many cleanses as possible. That's one way to play it very safely, right? You're always going to have value in that game. And it means that Lissandra's main value of, oh, I shut down the Ari, doesn't really happen. Can you shut down bot lane? Now, Lulis is here, of course. Remember, debut game for him on this NYYRIKKI roster in the NLC. Can they shut down this point of power in this 2v2, or is he here just to scout out a potential 3v3?
We said it in the last game. Venza said in an interview, if you draft Kalista, you draft yourself into playing around bot lane Lulas. And his first game for NYYRIKKI, spends a lot of time here, has sapped a lot of XP, all things said and done.
And we had such a large conversation about this in that last game, where it does feel like Kalista is one of those champions where you know you're putting resources bot lane. Both teams are fully aware of this. They're not idiots. And even with that, you do it anyway, right? Because even though it's so obvious, because most of the time in League of Legends, when there is a champion or someone saying, look, we need to play around this lane, you can counter it. You can just put more resources there. But Kalista is so strong, the more resources you put into her, especially in early game, it's very difficult to do that. So Lulu's turning up, just kind of paying respect to the fact that Sof could have come in and made an absolute mess of things. And with that, even though Sof didn't turn up, it just stops the worst-case scenario of Kalista snowballing happening. And actually, NYYRIKKI now have a CS lead onto their AD carry. They get themselves a reset, so it's not like a temporary lead as well. The wave's at tower, and that means Kalista's going to miss some of those items. And of course, this is Azator's Aphelios too. I actually accidentally call the champion Azator sometimes because he's so, for me, synonymous with the Aphelios. His weapon management, top-notch. His ability to impact fights, top-notch. This guy made such a name for himself in Spring on this pick.
Very much did, and of course, surviving just fine in this early game as Caleb hits the Meganar, and Banderas actually down, out of mana, does go in, has got Lulas coming up, but I don't know how much he really wants it. Caleb flashes early, Pillar still comes down, but with the minions in the way, no easy way for Lulas to get on top of the Gnar. And it will just be that summoner taken out of Caleb's inventory. Sof, though, will use that opportunity to secure an early Drake for MNM.
You take those, I think, as NYYRIKKI are on top side, because you see that Caleb was kind of winning out in the early laning phase. Caleb's actually overstaying. Now, Banderas doesn't have enough mana to do much here, and is currently being pushed around a little bit by Caleb. Of course, Banderas teleported back early with a Dirk. Didn't even go for the tier first back, but rather have that very quick, cheap, and cheerful, but very efficient buy of that Dirk. Caleb, however, getting ahead in CS, getting ahead in trades, and still has the teleport to get back to lane when he wants to. He manages to get his back in without even using that summoner.
And Caleb's a player we've actually had a lot of praise for. It's been a lot of damage. Of course, he's died a fair amount for his team as well, but he's been very impactful. His Gangplank in particular. We've got a few phenomenal Gangplank players currently in the league, but Caleb has put his name right up there. And yes, there haven't been as many wins for MNM as we would have liked, but there have been half of so many games that have been phenomenal that just haven't come to fruition for this team.
So let's just put this in context again. We kind of had some taglines for a couple of the games. It helps us kind of decide what we're talking about in the game in terms of like, oh, the battle of the ceiling versus the battle of finding their feet, blah, 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 battle of the other things too. But this one really is two teams who looked better than their game score. NYYRIKKI have had great games for about half a game. MNM have had that arguably even more so. As you're saying, you get 15 minutes of great gameplay from MNM, then about 15 minutes of them looking lost and not really looking like they have a direction and trying to figure out what they're going to do. In this game, we'll see when those 15 minutes crop up, because NYYRIKKI, of course, also in their own way, having their brilliant moments, taking down JDXL, going 1-1 versus Bifrost, importantly, too, in that battle for playoffs. And of course, see which one comes out on top today.
Yeah, and of course, Bifrost kind of raised the bar for getting into playoffs by winning earlier on against XL, and what a win that was for the squad. But it does now mean NYYRIKKI still can make playoffs if they can get 3 wins or more. And Bifrost don't get more than one more win to tie up that score there. But that will require a bit of a road, bit of a mountain to climb, but it starts here.
Yeah, they have to catch up 3 games. Aero has that level 6 mark hit, walking into Sof, though. He's gone for the Conqueror this game. We often see a lot of arguments about
Lulas.
Keystone was that, and actually might need to have that fighting Keystone available, as Lulas is up here for the Herald. But NYYRIKKI bought more people.
Hops away, but there's still going to be a flash handshake, and now Caleb about to get deleted. First blood to Banderas.
And you look at NYYRIKKI having more people top side, but they even still have Astor on bot side. So I actually want, well, we have to see what happens in this top side river, because there potentially is something happening. They're on vision. I really want to see what's happening in this bot side. Astor's putting in that wave. And what that means is that Astor gets to leave that lane now, get to roam elsewhere, and Kalista won't be here for the fight. Aero not going to be all in a safe position. Really interested now what NYYRIKKI are going to do, because they have a momentary numbers advantage, and Aero does have flash and ult.
Azator with a deadly pairing of weapons there. Severum, Crescendum, a known blender combo with the Onslaught and the number of chakrams you can stand for Aero now in a dangerous position. This is a 2v3. Aero does get the ult off just in time. Azator now with the chakram spinning. You bring it up, get the kill, and Aero's back out with the bailout. They get the kill and get out.
Oh, I thought that was so clever from MNM. They were trying to pull apart NYYRIKKI between different lanes. You could see that Azator was trying to get farm. As saying that, Mishku's had that too. Losing the skirmish, and Mishku at least not going to get punished for that one. Like I was saying, I thought that was so clever from MNM, judging where NYYRIKKI were going to be between taking that Herald and rotating around the map. They thought they had themselves a momentary numbers advantage, but that Renata comes in so clutch.
That is an ultimate with so little HP to work with. Abagnale is in there just in time for the bailout. They get the heal, and Sof only just escaped as well, because of course, look at Azator with the whirlwind of blades surrounding him.
Whirling Dervish. I mean, so for those of you that don't know, there was a buff a while ago to Crescendum's Moonlight Vigil, the ultimate, which meant that when you do hit targets, you get more chakrams at the start of it. So particularly in early game, if you hit that Crescendum ultimate, you become effectively like Ashe with the Q running. It's absolutely insane in terms of the extra amount of shots flying through, except they're not arrows, they're like full chakram extra damage coming through. Loads of DPS, puts it down immediately, and once again showing why this champion, to us on the NLC Div 1, has been related so much to NYYRIKKI's bot laner.
And of course, the last time we saw Sof on the Jarvan, it was when MNM were inches away from securing victory, and unfortunately he couldn't quite find the cataclysms in that game. Actually, unfortunately, their opposition escapes me momentarily. I had it in my head, and I've brain farted briefly, so I have to go quickly look that one up. But I remember it being incredibly close. It came right down to the wire, but couldn't quite close it home.
Yep. And that was, again, I feel so bad for MNM, because I actually feel like that was, again, quite intelligent, trying to pick off NYYRIKKI when they were rotating around. They have so much target access between a Moo Qs and flashes, and then, of course, their mid-jungle duo, which can reach targets from pretty much anywhere within the screen that they're on, and they just didn't quite manage to capitalize on it. They couldn't quite manage to get a hold of their target, and suddenly what could have been a great snowball opportunity kind of falls away from them.
It was versus Riddle, is what it was. It was Kalem's gangplank in that one, looking pretty sublime into an enemy Kale. It was looking really good. Camera was back on the Swain, which we've had so much praise for. Couldn't quite close it out, so I need to see a little bit of redemption from Sof here, who's wasn't finding the best engages in that last time out with the Jarvan. This time nearly makes it work, but can't quite secure the kill onto Aeros Lissandra, and unfortunately they lose a kill in that attempted trade.
They just got outplayed a little bit. Hands on the keyboard in favor of NYYRIKKI in that one. Of course, MNM have themselves a mythical creature already on their roster. They have a Chimera in the mid lane.
Yes.
What they really are looking for
It's got a fox head, a raven's head, and something else. What are the champions they play?
No, well, I mean, it's actually for Chimera, it's just loads of bird champions. That's actually the Chimera.
Does Ari count?
You know what? I don't want to think about my main champion in that way. I will now disengage from that thought. But what they're really looking for is something called a Hecatoncheir. Now, if anyone out there is a fan of Greek mythology, this was an elder creature, like before the time of the Titans and stuff, known as a 100-handed one. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for
more hand stiff.
They're looking for more hand stiff. Find yourself a Hecatoncheir. Who is the Hecatoncheir in your life? That's the question I want to ask you today.
Hang on, did you just ask a statement of people who is the Hecatoncheir in their life? Look, all right,
hang on, Sam.
people at home, people of Twitch chat, hear ye. Look for the people with the best hands. They may well be a mythological Greek creature hiding in
I knew there was something different about them. It's like
the Salem witch hunts, but for like modern day League of Legends. I don't know. Feel a bit worried about that. Shredder is actually on vision here, sitting around. Of course, does have the Fate's Call. It's a deadly combo here.
Well, the 3v3, but Sentinel. It was actually a very intelligent Sentinel from Mishku. You know, we talked about Aztor and his Aphelios and how important that has been to him. Mishku has been a player who's kind of played a bit of everything, though, on the other side of it. Ooh, close from Chimera, though. Speaking of Chimera, talked about him a little bit. I think that might be some Magic Pen in the build. I think that's some Sork Shoes, and looking at that blasting one, I think we're going to get quite a bursty Ahri here. Have the Electrocute, got the cleanse in there already, and I think that's quite important, because if you are going for those similar kind of picks we saw around that Herald, and you want to single out a champion very quickly into it, I think having a Ludens and just saying, look, Amumi's going to put someone down, this Jarvan is going to sell someone out, you can see how important it is. Actually, with Shredder here, let's see if they can maybe find themselves a burst combo. Looking potentially for a fight, lots of people coming to the occasion.
3v3 with the outside chance of Kalem joining down there in the river to make it a 4v3, but the Herald gets its charge off. We've got 2 minutes until the Dragon, and actually with the wave shoved in, Kalem will just about turn up in time to collect that one as well, so...
It's always such a heart-stopping moment when you are flag dragging around a trundle to just go, I've had my dash cancelled. That was fun. Doesn't happen there, but it was so close.
More extreme language.
Words to the same effect.
I've got to call it out as well. Of course, Camera not only building towards some pen, has got himself the One Ring in inventory as well.
Yes.
Sauron very pleased.
The One Ring of library power.
With library access.
With you, endless amounts of reading are at your fingertips.
Dark Lord of Silence in the library.
Not to harp on too much that failed play around Harold, but that could have been such a good start to that snowball, because you already had that inventory at that point. But of course, both of these teams, it feels like actually both these teams in a very snowball situation when you have a Lissandra who can deal with many squishy champions in MNM, and no, Jarvan is not very tanky. Most junglers aren't nowadays. Similar can be said of NYYRIKKI. Basically, no one is a tank in this game. First target into the fray is going to have an absolutely harsh time of it, so that snowball means even more.
Don't know whether there's going to be the flag available quite yet, so Sof in a slightly tricky position, but no real ability to continue to dive on top of him. NYYRIKKI up a fair amount of gold, of course. The early objectives in terms of the Dragons going MNM's way. If they consume, I don't know if there's a word there, ensure they get to the next Drake, they'll be at Soul Point.
Consume the dragon.
Consume the dragon. Yes, the Nunu's on the ridge, yes. Why does the enemy team not just simply consume the other? To quote Futurama, slightly paraphrased, but there we go, all the while. Several crescendo in the bot side.
Per se, I ate, in fact.
First tower secured by NYYRIKKI down there as
We've
a
been
tour.
going through the references today, haven't we?
Random pop culture references we have said. All the same though, it is NYYRIKKI who take this moment to take command of the map and continue to extend their gold lead in MNM. I do need to see them start making plays soon, because actually at the minute they're kind of bleeding out just slowly in these incremental ways.
It does feel like it will come down to the first mistake. When you're looking at that vision for where that is going to come about, you can see actually wards over the river on both sides. NYYRIKKI mainly have theirs on the top side jungle, not that helpful around this dragon, whereas MNM have a couple around the river, and that should help them choose their target first. Watch for those Amumu Qs, watch for that Jarvan engage. First target in, first target picked out is going to get deleted.
So Kalista will be onto the dragon, so Ren secure will be a part of this, and MNM looking to secure Soul Point. NYYRIKKI don't want to contest, so the win condition is on the board, and it's a Luden's Ari by the by.
There we go. So, as we were kind of saying, yep, this is so great, right? Because I can sit here and say, this is the logical build to do, and people would still build Everfrost and like Morel and Omicron or something. Yes, Tempt, I'm looking at you. I think Tempt is such a good player. Just build, whatever. Lots of conversations had about that. Lots of great players. I still disagree with their builds. I'm sure many people have had that before, but now it's happening to my main champion. I actually care about it.
Yeah, I never cared until it happened to me.
No one cared until what I built until I put on the Fox. But with this, this game is about killing the first target. It is about deleting the first target into the fray. And that happens for both sides. Of course, you see that Luden's for Aero as well. Hasn't built up those boots yet. Don't know whether he'll be going to even more pen. But look at this in the side lane. I mean, I want to see how much Aero can do. This is going to be a very dead Ari very quickly if they pull the trigger.
There's a cleanse there, so Cameron needs to be a little afraid straight away now, bursting, but there's a ring of frost afterwards. A charm afterwards means that Aero will get the ultimate as well, so Camera down some fairly big ticket cooldowns.
And that's really important now, because MNM were trying to slot into a 1-3-1 side laning style of play. Can't do that without ult and cleanse on Chimera. So that down, MNM will now have to reassess what they're doing with their lanes. Aero gets to control bot side. There is a moment, though, when NYYRIKKI can all in here.
Thinking about it, don't pull the trigger, though, and MNM have not really made a lot of proactive plays outside of that one attempt to catch out Aero early on, as now Caleb down in the mini-nart in a spot of Bother Banderas trading very heavily. The teleport coming through to defend their Jace. Maybe just looking to reassess some of these lane setups. Fate's Call burned as well. MNM do walk out, but...
It's a lot of respect on both sides, actually. Early teleport, early Kalista ultimate. I think that's the right choice. Now Nishigu just about hops away from that potential danger there. But both these teams, again, not willing to be the first team to get picked off. That's kind of what's been talked about a lot in the last couple of minutes. Look for that vision control into that first amount of huge pile on damage. But, we talk about gameplay a lot. Let's go back to what it means for both these teams. We are closing in on the last 2 weeks of play. There's relegation.
Oh, yes.
Stakes for this. There is playoff stakes for this and implications of both. So NYYRIKKI, if they win this game, they're only 2 behind Bifrost. They're actually 1-on-1 with them as well. So they have a head-to-head, which is even. They can probably tie-break into it. Whereas MNM, it is now functionally impossible for them to make playoffs. They are currently locked out. They can't reach that 8-win margin. But what can they do to play spoiler and get away from relegation?
Sort of buffers his way out of some of the CC, flashes into the pit, but now gets bound by the binding Eclipse. Not going to happen, though. Look at Camera on the bot side. He can have some free time to get onto this tower. Get a little bit of that split push going. And on the other side for MNM, if NYYRIKKI win this, they are basically locking themselves out of relegations. They'll get to 6 wins. MNM, would have 3 games left to play, so could maybe tie it, but I think with the head-to-heads, it would be pretty tricky for them to make their way out of it, and that would mean it would also lock Singularity in to the relegation.
Thinking of it, because NYYRIKKI would be 3 games ahead and have the 2-0 head-to-head versus an MNM, they won the first matchup, they would be mathematically locked out of relegations. That's pretty huge for this roster.
Yeah.
This is the first season for NYYRIKKI being in the NLC. MNM have been around a while longer in the Nordic and the UK and Ireland scene. They have relegated out before, in fact have MNM, and it'd be a sad situation for them to visit that again, but NYYRIKKI in their first year, if they were to stay in despite the toils of spring split, having a bit of a poor showing at that time and having struggles in this split too, it would still be a result, I think, to be proud of.
Of course, Singularity with their loss earlier as well, I believe, locked themselves into the relegation bottom 2. So they'll be around that one. It's really a question now between MNM and NYYRIKKI. And of course, NYYRIKKI in a better spot after their very successful final week. Of course, now with Lulas in, it's a different jungler, different way of playing the game. This game has been a bit slower, even if they are up a healthy amount of gold at this point. The problem is they're about to fight for an Infernal Soul in a minute, and while that gold is good for you right now, you need to make it count in a minute's time.
And I think, so I understand that both these teams are not wanting to jump into fights where they don't have full information because they can get so dangerous. We've also seen kind of a problem with both these teams not actually being able to set up the correct vision and control the areas of the map they want to play around well enough, because they've not actually managed to pull the trigger on pretty much anything at this point. It's been not directionless, but it's not been lethal enough. And with both these teams looking to snowball, the fact that they haven't been able to do that is a little worrying for both teams. It does feel like both teams are kind of afraid to lose rather than being bold enough and looking for the victory.
Gone 21 minutes on the clock, and MNM finally secured themselves a tower. That's great news for them, but with the Dragon spawning in 20 seconds, you know where the angle is, camera over the wall, misses the charm, but Aero has to self-hunt. Now he's in a difficult position. Can he escape? Look for the second charm, flash away from the Orb of Deception. Aero is now out of this fight.
Again, NYYRIKKI's defensive vision is working really, really well for them. Lissandro's down, Ariel's down, big proactive tools down. Does that open up a window for these AD carries to start doing the carrying now that these mid laners don't have nearly as much threat?
Camera, of course, does a lot of work to chunk out both the mid and support, but Azator with some close-range weaponry, not the easiest for him to get in. Banderas will have to do the lion's share of the work. Glacial Path thrown out, but not taken. Dragging down to 4,000 HP, Caleb into the wall, gets onto Lulas, flashes away, Sof goes in, but he's taken so very low, goes golden. Abagnale follows suit. Now inside the Cataclysm, Sof trying to escape his way back out. Abagnale staying alive, but on the other side, and 2 already for NYYRIKKI, who are wiping this team fight. There comes the Calibrum when it's needed, and Sof will run away, run to the hills, and only the mid jungle survives from MNM.
MNM, they had themselves soul point. They still technically have a jungler in the area. Maybe can flag drag in for something. Has he been seen on that tiny ward?
Moonshot misses. Pillar comes over. Shock Blast not going to be quite enough, but Azator is hunting him down, has Flash, should be able to secure this. Flashes forwards, but Smite afterwards makes that a Flash wasted.
Flash wasted, but it is still Dragon to the side of NYYRIKKI. It's not going to be soul picked up by MNM. And again, this is like the second half of the fight, right? Because actually large amounts of the cooldowns you want to go in with have been used from both sides, because you don't have the ability to go in for that big bursty combo with the Ahri at this point, not with your ultimate missing. And it really feels like the AD carries were unlocked to do what they will, and Azator always has the right guns for the equation. Had Calibrum, Crescendum, Rifle, Turrets. He absolutely shreds MNM through.
Yeah, and unfortunately didn't get a lot out of Michigan in that fight. Was Azator 2-0-2. Gets everything he wanted on that one, gets to utilize the weapons he built up, and it's a beautiful switch out to the Calibrum at the end as well. The man's weapon management is one of the best in the NLC, on full display in that fight now. 2 items complete. Banderas happily transformed on the Muramana as well, so NYYRIKKI well and truly in the full power of their comp.
So what I'm really looking for from MNM next is something that they've kind of struggled with so far, probably because NYYRIKKI have been very good at removing vision. MNM need to be placing wards, they need to be defending them, and they need to really be trying to find those picks. I think they should be establishing a small pocket of vision with their jungle support, and then letting someone sit in fog behind it, someone like Chimera, someone like Mishigu, to throw someone into the fray. I hope they can start picking someone on NYYRIKKI off. I think that's what they need to do, but currently they're pushing in a siege and they're getting TP'd on.
Teleport, tower falls, but this will now be a 4v4. Aero onto the side, looking for the Glacial Path, gets in on Mishigu, who cleanses, but so much damage means there's no way out. Shredder lived up to his namesake, and it's not an eponymous title you wanted. He is shredded.
Oh, they get all the wards on the north side, but they don't catch that one in the bot river. Brush and NYYRIKKI pounce. They find themselves, they're engaged, they draw in the mistake. It's 2 fights back-to-back and a Baron going with it.
Watch Aero on the flank. He can look for more in the 3v5. They must hold. Caleb nearly at Mega. There goes Aero trying to get onto camera, who managed to run away for now, but is slowed down. Cleanses to try and keep the distance. Does not have ultimate, so damn low. Sof is dead. Camera is running to the wrong part of the rift. He'll try and recall, but Azator is coming over. Decent amount of damage on a final auto. Secures the Fox.
Cheeky Gale Force from Azator to pick that one up. I guess hit with the charm midway through makes the animation look a little bit funky, but Azator 3-0 for MNM. They pick for early game, they pick for pick potential, and they just can't make it work. NYYRIKKI punish their mistakes around vision, around positioning.
Try. Aero. Remember, there's no ultimate quite yet, so he finally gets it off, just off cooldown, but now Mishigu looking to try and turn it around. Big shutdown onto Mishigu. A necessary turnaround for MNM. A silver lining in the thunderclouds on NYYRIKKI right now.
It's too little too late, though. I mean, you pick off the Lysandra, that's all well and good, but it is after you've lost a huge fight again. Banderous on this Jace. We don't see Jace that much. I know that Aragon was calling out, hey, I love that some of our players are picking out the Yone, the Jace into that Narm. Of course, the Aurelio we saw earlier today from Chasey as well. And I think that Banderous has been, once again, quietly adding a lot to his team. It's been a little louder in some games, but this one he's just been doing what he needs to do. And what NYYRIKKI needed to do was, again, punish these mistakes from MNM, which they're successfully doing.
that Gale Force there from Azator is clutch enough to get them the kill. They do so.
The animation just looks so funky because it's cancelled by the charm.
Like, cancelled, but not before the damage goes through. Yeah. Emotional damage.
Gosh. A little bit for MNM, because again, a loss here, it effectively locks you into relegations at that point. It is close enough. Actually, I think, well, with Vanir still at 5 wins, you could technically...
Yeah, possibly.
You could technically get out of relegations if Vanir were to collapse and MNM were to pick up some wins there, I believe, but NYYRIKKI would be out of it themselves due to head-to-heads in their own game score, meaning that remaining games, MNM couldn't make up the difference. That's what's on the table for these teams. It's survival in the league. Chimera, what's he trying to do here?
It's a charm onto the Trundle, who does heal back up with the Subjugate, but now needs to try and survive. So much damage on a Shredder from an accelerated shock blast means that even the attempted pick does nothing.
Oh, they're just too far behind. 7,500 gold, and well, you got a little bit of damage on that Ari. It's just not enough. No follow-up, and the Trundle is your worst picked target. Gets out of that one alive. NYYRIKKI punishing the thought of the aggressive play. MNM, if you'd made that 15 minutes earlier, maybe it would have worked out to your favor, but it's just really hard to make it work at this point. NYYRIKKI just choking out the map, choking out the vision, and now with the dragon spawning, NYYRIKKI looking to, once again, stop MNM getting towards a soul.
Absolutely. Of course, NYYRIKKI, they will face off against Vanir somewhere down the line as well to maybe push them into that consideration for a relegation spot. Of course, Vanir have got Bifrost and Astralis, no easy teams to beat on their current performances, as Caleb does get that top lane tier 1, but Panteras looking to absolutely murder this Mega now, forces the flash out.
Aero's
coming and Aero coming up. I don't think there's anywhere to escape. It will be a cold, cold grave for this Gnar. Taken out by Banderas on the killing spree.
Shredder takes one look and goes, nope, I'm out. Tries to roam up to the play. I mean, when the plays start happening like that, someone normally tries to hover over unless there's a concerted call to go to a cross map somewhere else. But I mean, Aero's just there at the right time, and Banderas, he punishes Caleb for taking a tower. I mean, at that point, you're at least getting something. It's a tower. It's a sad situation for MNM. And again, we've kind of said that, actually it was Aragon saying it on the desk. They kind of put themselves on a timer. We thought that they needed to play around early game. They definitely tried to make something work around that Herald. It just wasn't enough, and they stalled out before they really managed to begin.
You're looking down the barrels of a 3-item Jace, a 3-item Lysandra, and an Aphelios, who I'm sure is about to complete an Infinity Edge as well. That is a brutal set of items to try and deal with.
Well, even actually just looking at the 2 items there from Lulus as well. We saw how tanky this Trundle can be. I mean, I believe that's probably going to be on Chimera as the sole AP. Actually, no, it's not. I'm wrong. It's actually on Mishigu.
Okay, makes sense as well.
But either way, it just makes you so tanky. You steal something from the first person into the fray as well. Most likely going to be Sof or Caleb, whoever's ended up there first. And Lulus is, even at this point, with the amount of gold that he's got, becoming a real nuisance for MNM to deal with.
Yeah, you need a fight if you're MNM where you blow up Azator and then Mishigu gets to free fire. there. In that order, probably, and that is so hard to guarantee.
Yeah, it's, again, it feels like it's about punishing mistakes. NYYRIKKI have just been better at that this game.
Vision control, as you called out earlier.
Someone's been walking over wards, when someone's been pushing up too far in a lane, whatever, you name it. NYYRIKKI have been the ones to punish more often than not. MNM have not found as much success at it. As I say that, though, potential of it happening
Trying
here.
to go in. Sof jumps onto Banderas, but he's still got a stopwatch. Throw out the hostile takeover. Sof gets hammer blown straight into the river, and Lules is there to try and eat up the Jarvan, who does get over the wall, but a glacial path forced to flash out from Sof.
I mean, credit to MNM trying to find some way back in by, again, doing what we've been saying all game, trying to punish someone overstepping, punish those mistakes, but mistakes have been aplenty in this game from themselves, and they're just too far behind to capitalize.
I mean, at least they don't lose any lives. They get a stopwatch out of Banderas' chase. They get the flash off of Aero, so there's at least something there, even if it didn't look pretty. You do burn a few of those tools. The stopwatch in particular, though, is immediately transformed into a Guardian Angel, so I don't feel that Banderas feels too hard done by burning that cooldown.
Absolutely not. And also, I mean, it gives you the legendary passive, the mythic passive, rather, from
Yeah, of course.
A little more percentage pen on that, gonna hit a little harder. Just makes all your other items a little more valuable. So,
It's the Infinity Edge as well.
Infinity Edge from Aztor. There you go. Critical carry mass hit by Aztor. Zoom in on that guy. Yeah, that guy's powerful.
With Infernum and Gravitum as well, that's not the best, like...
I was saying that like in a metaphorical sense, but I'm glad the observers are listening.
Observers are paying attention. That's great news. As Calum really wishes we'd zoom away from that. That was brutal to witness.
Avert thine gaze! It's like, you can crush my body, but you can never crush my spirit. Banderas, second Q in hammer form. Ah, my spirit!
Yeah, oh, dear me. Abandon your designs, lowly tarnished. You're not allowed to be at a side lane. Who the hell do you think you are? Banderas doing his best Elden Ring boss impression in this game. Truly a monster.
I can't quote that one. I haven't played it.
You really ought to. It's very good.
I hear it's very good. I've been a victor of many bullet hell games myself. It's not quite the same as the Souls-like, but I could give it a shot.
Banderas now gets to throw
the side lane is actually the Souls-like, trying to dodge everything. That's the bullet hell.
3-level discrepancy. Of course, Camera doesn't have teleports. That just means NYYRIKKI are going to get free reign over this Baron.
Yeah, and the thing about having items on an AD carry, especially one with so much consistent damage, you can two-man Baron. It goes down so quickly, and they have to dive into the Aphelios with these weapons. That is hellish from MNM.
NYYRIKKI pull away, though, with Sof in position to steal, and now everyone up here. That minion wave in the bot lane, though, will do the work. It's set up earlier, Blue Peter style, and get a hold of that inhibitor turret. Aero, though, gets charmed. He could go down. They get him. The mid laner is dead. Now in the 4v5, what can MNM do? They must find Azure. They tried, forced the flash out, but he's got Calibrum and Crescendo. We can start trading this one out. 20 seconds on Infernal Drake, and that would be sold for MNM. A possible win condition of Light in the Dark.
Have a look at this, Jace. One more Shock Blast hit. Someone is going down with it. They've lost their mid laner, but NYYRIKKI's still spoiling for a fight.
On the side with the Fate's Call! Gets on 2. Another charm. We'll make sure it's a 1-for-1 right now, but Shredder is taken out. Abignale burns out, so support for support. The Moonlight Vigil goes wide, and now still the man advantage for MNM, but they must secure this dragon. Can they do it without dying? A charm onto Lulas will mean he's still going to be in the pit. Secured! Infernal Soul, but look who's dead. Camera is down in Michigu with the Immortal Shield Bow. Popped, must try and escape. Sof will die. Calum and Lulas must escape somehow, some way. It's late enough into the game, they might just die. Calum nearly at Meganar, not quite there, over the wall, staying alive. Now Lulas in danger, but look at the teleports into the base. NYYRIKKI's want to corral them, keep them away, because they'll just end the game.
Oh, and MNM, they finally find a few burst combos. They make it interesting, but it's far too little.
Well done.
Far too late. NYYRIKKI calling in the cavalry to the Nexus.
A 2v2. They've got Infernal Soul, but that is a support, a top laner versus the 2 solo laners. Aero taken low with the Ignite. Goes Golden State alive. Gonna keep playing this one best they can. Banderas in, but he's gonna get Katen up with the course of the Sad Mummy. NYYRIKKI not like this, a bit of MNM magic to end the game. They'll kill off Aero. Coming back now is Banderas. Must get out of here alive.
Oh, I think Banderas might just be able to do it with that gate of his. Accelerating camera, not up in time. The game goes on, but it is still kind of broken open. You've lost yourself an inhibitor. How much realistically can this Infernal Soul do? MNM, it helps them increase their burst window. Hell, they managed to take out Aero with that burst combo. That's where it really started. This is again, halfway through the fight. You've already lost to Lissandra. What really makes this interesting is, again, Mishigu sliding off a vision, getting into active range. This Kalista has been a factor in a fight for pretty much the first time this game. Mishigu really struggling to get into the right position, dodging away from Trundle pillars, away from the damage threats, but even with that, it's just not enough.
They do get the Infernal Soul, though, and they stave off the end of the game. They're on to the Baron. They want to take this mini victory and run with it.
Render's getting stacked, but Bandros, look at this poke. The Jace is doing so much.
So low. They're going to get a charm to Abagnale, though. Don't secure a kill, though. Handshake away. MNM back off.
So dangerous there. MNM trying to use that threat of the Kalista secure, force NYYRIKKI's hand, maybe get them to engage into them. It's not something that they've managed to really pull off this game. MNM have to be fighting on the aggressive foot.
Eyes on the bot lane, though. That minion wave begins to trundle its way in. Remember the down Nexus tower. Baron started by NYYRIKKI. Sof healed up on the Gromp.
Error's not been seen.
He's going to try him over the flank. Does not take the glacial path.
It was sad though with the Banshees on too. Could have actually tanked up the charm, flashed in, made things really dangerous for MNM, but they don't choose to split their call. They choose to stay on the Baron, not look for the fight. They secure it, they're rewarded for it. They're going to reset on some members, teleport back into the stacked wave, see if they can put this game to bed.
Do you believe in MNM? They pulled off a miracle to hold on to this game for a few moments more, but NYYRIKKI still get the Baron. NYYRIKKI still very deadly this late into the game. And NYYRIKKI begin to shove in on the top side. Charm onto Lulis.
And again, but that's the real one target that you don't get much out of hitting. And on the other side, it's so much easier to line up those shock blasts. Anyone hit by the Jace is going to be stinging, waking up sore tomorrow morning. So NYYRIKKI setting up in multiple lanes. Arrow safe enough for now. Has ultimate, has Banshees, has that Zhonya. Of course, wasn't enough to save them at the start of that last fight, but this time looking to play a little more respectfully around those minion waves. NYYRIKKI playing it by the book, playing it by tutorial style, pushing in with their creeps.
Azator following in the likes of Attila's footsteps. Some phenomenal AD carry performances today. 8-0-4, 3-item stopwatch, last whisper in inventory. Doing their very best to carry this game to a victory. Of course, Mishigu with the stopwatch, with the Bloodthirst and no slouch themselves. Trying the best to hold on against this Baron.
Right, so NYYRIKKI actually haven't managed to stack up the waves quite well enough. Bot lane's crashing in, but mid lane is nowhere to be seen. They go for a dive to
goes in, Mishigu cleanses, but stays alive. Into the backside goes Shredder, though, with a massive curse. Let's have Mummy. That will still be a dead Amumu, though. Hostile takeover doesn't get as much done. The Cataclysm down, and now the Nexus, the inhibitor turret, I apologize, falls. The wave crashing in onto this final Nexus turret as well. And NYYRIKKI with the man advantage, looking to end the game right here, right now.
Oh, that's the flash shot, it misses. Trying to catch out just one target, but MNM not able to land anything in defense of their base. Turrets shredded, only one left alive across the entire map.
The Nexus is exposed, and Charm gets a hold of Aero, who plays on bailout but needs to stay alive. Soft goes down, but it's not going to keep Aero alive, who now falls, but the Nexus exposed. Lulas onto it. Lulas with the victory, and NYYRIKKI cleaning up to 6 wins.
NYYRIKKI now safe from relegations. This is a team which in spring we had a lot of questions about. They were clearly a bottom 2 team. This team is going to struggle at the end of the year. Come in summer, they make a couple of changes, especially towards that top side of the map, and another change later into that jungle. Lulis coming in. This team finally starts to capitalize on some wins against, this time, in another struggling team in MNM, but they're keeping themselves alive, and they're keeping themselves, again, just within range of Bifrost if they slip up again.
You began to wonder, didn't you? When the Infernal Soul came down, when they held on to one of those Nexus towers, you began to wonder, but it wasn't enough. And NYYRIKKI, got a little dicey in that late game, still come up with the win, get themselves out of relegations, and NYYRIKKI moved to 3 wins in a row. But that's enough from us for the day. The desk will take it from here to clean up what's left of our performance and broadcast.
Cheers with you.
Thank you so much. And we return to the post-show after NYYRIKKI make it through, and they still have some hopes towards those playoffs. MNM are now looking to the battle of relegations. It is a rough one. MNM tried yet again to go for the early game, just doesn't work out. And NYYRIKKI were the best team today.
You want to take it or shall I take it? Because, man,
you can go ahead.
You put Azator on an Aphelios, you put Azator on a Jinx, you make sure he gets protected through that laning phase. This guy does not miss in the mid to late game fights.
Yeah, so I'll say it. I think MNM need to reevaluate how they want to play. I don't think these early game drafts with no scaling are working out for them. They keep doing it. Past 3 drafts, they've had 0 scaling, and then they mess up the early game. I mean, some of it is unfortunate, right? For example, in the Lissandra play, but I think they need a bit of leeway in their drafts. They're not quite pulling it off, and I want them to reconsider maybe playing towards a different lane.
It's something of they have an identity, but that identity is just not linking with the team. It is a weird one. On NYYRIKKI's side, though, yet again, you got Banderas on the top side. You give him enough time, and it just develops into something that you cannot handle with.
Man, I just remember it was like towards the late game, there was a fight where Banderas is chasing Caleb. Banderas is in... Okay, it's not this one, but I'm going to explain what happened straight after that one, because I'm pretty sure this is like a game-winning fight right here for NYYRIKKI, and you see how decisive that Lissandra claw was into all of these champion setups. So well for your team to follow up on kills like this.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, at this point in the game, I do think the game is kind of over. I think MNM just aren't far enough ahead to justify their comp. And the team fights are so easy by now because of the scaling for NYYRIKKI.
If you look into this composition, do you believe like they needed the big lead to begin the game?
I think at the very bare minimum, they couldn't be behind, which they were. That you just cannot go behind drafting like this. You need to have all the dragons, which they did. Granted, they did a good job stacking the dragons.
Yeah.
But they also needed the kills to back it up.
And are they playing for multiple lanes instead of playing just for one like X7 did before? Like you have a lot of carries and you're trying to get all those carries online instead of just working for one?
I feel like they had favorable lanes. The Jace matchup into the Gnar is a cheesy counter pick.
It is.
The Lissandra is meant to be a neutralizer into the Ahri. You can make you can have a lot of setup for your jungler to come into the lane, and also you had Azta again onto that Aphelios with all the safety of the picks that you've drafted around him. I think it was a recipe for success. Certainly from the draft, I really liked what MNM were bringing because it was a fun draft to watch and a very early game proactive draft. But all in all, when it came to NYYRIKKI, it was very NYYRIKKI-esque. It was control mid, counter pick top, get Azta on a scaling pick. Ta-da!
And I like the way that they just don't get baited into fights if they just don't need them. We see other teams just getting baited into those fights like, oh, you're teasing me. And they go instantly versus them. This is a team that knows when to fight and how to fight accordingly. So this is a team that can still make it to playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. I was really impressed, actually, with the fact that they gave up the first 3 dragons. Like you said, super disciplined. Giving up the first 3 dragons, instead cross-mapping on those turrets. I just think they knew their win condition and they played to it.
So regarding this team, we still have to understand versus them and Vanir after the victory from Bifrost. So it's still those 3 teams looking to grab the last seat into playoffs. Looking into all of them today, which team do you believe, I'm going to start with you, Trouble, will make playoffs?
I think it's going to have to be Bifrost. He saw something like lit up when we're talking to High, where he's like, we're done trying different styles. We don't have to be a multi-dimensional team. If we do one thing so darn good, no one will be able to beat us in our own game. And I bought into the confidence, and I bought into the last 2 games that they've played. 1 game that they've played, not the Singularity one.
Okay, yeah.
But this looked pretty clean. And against a team like JDXL, props to them.
We're going to move on because I believe we have the interviewer ready with us. And from what I heard, it's from NYYRIKKI. I thought it was Lulas jumping into the interview, but welcome to the show. How are you feeling?
Thank you. I'm feeling very well, but Lulas wasn't. That's why I'm stepping in. He had some health issues today.
Oh, okay. I hope he's fine at least, and that's really important. Even with health issues, you guys still managed to take it away from MNM, and it seemed like the team is working together with Lulas. And this is a question that I had for him that I can do it just for you. The idea that he steps in, it's really hard to get a jungler that is a facilitator to the team, walking in so late into the split. How are things going with Lulas, Crims, and even communication, and how are you guys bonding?
I mean, things are going pretty well, I would say. He's natural in the role that we needed. That's the main reason why we picked him up instantly. It was because he was the right person at the right time, and it just fit him perfectly. Plus Portuguese buff.
Ah, man. You know it. And it's really important to look into your team and the way you guys are playing. This was a decisive game for you guys. If you still want to make playoffs, you guys needed to win this one today. And it seemed like in terms of discipline, you were on top. You knew when to play. You were not worried about giving up Soul because you knew you were building something towards the end game. Who was making the calls? How was the team communication? Because you have a new player, and the way you guys were playing, it was clean.
Our mid-game setup was the same. Like we keep the core. Like most of the calls come from mid lane and support. Like usually we have like a structure where the mid lanes goes mid lane plus a bit of top goes over like the macro towards the waves, and the support goes more in like fast action, like engages like a point of vision and so on. Meanwhile, the early game, it was covered before by Flipper, and it is covered right now by Lulas in the same exact way.
Just gonna say, you say his name perfectly, by the way. I was like, not everybody can say Lulas like you do, by the way. It's really important now to look into the final question, from me at least, is playoffs. Bifrost stepped up their game today. Vanir are kind of shaky, so this means this could be your take for NYYRIKKI. But looking into the new Bifrost, how can you guys get the last place?
I mean, like, I would say we could definitely like win against Bifrost right now. Like, if we will match them, like, I don't think it will be like much of an issues. They look clean today. But I would say it was mostly JDXL looking shaky. Like MNS going like that, you can't win a game out of it.
So you still think there's a possibility for you guys to make playoffs. Regardless of that, you step away from relegations. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to be really rough.
Yes,
yeah.
100% sure.
100% sure you got out of relegations, but now it's more about playoffs. So you still believe you can make playoffs?
Yeah, definitely. Like, obviously, like, it's not completely in our hands. Like, we do believe that we can win every single game from now on. The problem is, like, it's just not about us. Like, because unfortunately, like, we lose the head-to-head to Bifrost. So, like, they have the head on that. But we are feeling comfortable.
Okay. Thank you so much for this interview. Congratulations on another victory and getting Lulas on your team. Thank you so much for this one, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Portuguese blood.
Yes. I'm actually really surprised about something that he said about JDXL. Every single team that we've asked today about playoffs and who they would like to face, everyone said JDXL, even though I think statistically, Dusty have probably been the most successful team we have had in the latter half of the split. And they're also very flexible. They can play through different lanes and so on and so forth. So I'm still very surprised to actually hear a lot about JDXL, especially when like Riddle is stepping up, Dusty stepping up, X7 have brought the back-to-back victories onto the mix. It's just very, very interesting, I think.
I would say JDXL is wounded, and everybody can smell the blood, no?
Yep. So something I was curious as well, relating to your point, actually, Trouble. I think it was really curious when we asked Attila from X7 which teams he was afraid of. He didn't even mention Dusty, not a single peep about Dusty. And when, for example, we asked Carlson who the best top laner is, not a peep about Kerberos. It's really odd because I look at these teams and these players and I'm like, I think they're potentially, you know, top two in their role. So yeah, it's just a weird disconnect from maybe our viewer perspective and the player's perspective.
And also we need to understand how they work in terms of best of 5. This is the new segment we're going to get, the best of 5 scenario. So maybe they know something that we don't versus JDXL. But if things go as they win today, it's going to be a rough road for them, JDXL, and we might even get that team in 3rd place. This happened on Spring Splits. I can see it back. My copium is...
You know what? What if we bring someone in who did hype the Zac to talk to us about the Zac? What do you think?
I would love that.
I would love that too.
I don't understand. As we move on to the next interview, it is with MNM. I believe it is with Sof.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
There he is. Welcome back to the show. Welcome.
He hyped up the blob. He hyped up the blob and he let someone else pick it first. Sof, what's happening?
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's my verse. I mean, he played it fine. It was a good Zac game, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, Bifrost came out with a win. They looked clean today, so yeah, props to them.
Tell me something. So it was a good game from Dan on the Zac, but can you do it better?
Man, what the hell? You're putting me on the spot. I mean, I would go Conqueror. He went Aftershock, right? But he was in the 4 melees. Yeah, he was in his 4 melees, and if he took Conk, it would have been way better. But I think other than that, he was fine on it. Yeah. So.
Okay.
We got it from the Zac master, you know.
Yeah,
Now, I
exactly.
need to talk to you about another thing. After this defeat versus NYYRIKKI, it seems you guys are running towards relegations. This is a tough position to be in. What is the mindset right now?
I mean, I don't think I mean, obviously we're sad about it, but we also recognize our own shortcomings, all right? We have work to do, basically. So I think we're just going to put our heads down and work for relegations. You know, MNM are a great org. They're great owners. They've always treated us well. So, you know, the last thing we want to do is potentially not see them in NLC again next split, right? So, you know, we're just going to keep our heads down and keep working to the end of the split. And in November, we're you know, going to not relegate, basically.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's all we can do at this point.
Well, Sof, it's really great to see in general, like from both Singularity and MNM, you know, heading towards this bottom spots that it's very clear what your goal is. It's like, it's fine, it was a bad season, whatever, we're going to stay strong, get through the relegation phase. I want to ask you now something, since you have played against these players before, you have been in the NLC before. I want you to give me your top 2 in the NLC for semifinals.
Semi-finals. Wait, top 2, as in like 2 teams for?
Yeah, like playoffs, EU Masters top 2, yeah.
Okay. I actually think X7 are a lot better now with Viking as a jungle. I think MC is really good, but on previous lineups of MC, you could tell that they played through him with the Nidalee and stuff. But Tempt isn't a massive AD mid player, so I think they really needed a jungler that's more team orientated, and Viking does that really well for them, I feel like. So I actually think they're going to be really good. I think XL will still make it, even though they look shaky at the moment. I think they'll be fine. And I think that the third place, or potentially the second place, is Dusty, basically. I think Dusty are really good right now. I think their matchup into X7 is actually in X7's favor, in my opinion. I think Backlund has looked insane this split, but I think Tempt is obviously a really, really good mid laner and can probably keep Backlund toned down in mid. So I think the second spot is going towards X7 or Dusty, but I think the first spot is XL for sure, in my opinion.
What is going on, man? XL lose to Bifrost, XL lose to NYYRIKKI, and still everyone says XL.
I gotta back my boy FGG, you know? Like, I can't. I love that guy.
Of course you do. Yeah. Of course you do.
I don't like to go really analytical. I don't like to bring it big questions, but I got to do this one, Sof. Okay, ready?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, you got in. Oh, there you go. You got in the cow blanket.
Oh, you like it? You like
what
it?
is this? I need to understand, what is this? Is this something? Yeah.
They're pictures of me and my girlfriend, like past memories, you know? Yeah. Oh my god, wait. What else is it gonna be? They're just pictures, though.
I have no idea. To me, it's like 5-6 pixels at top, so I have no idea. And I love those, by the way. I love those.
This is very nice.
You like the cover? Yeah, I like it.
Seem
I know.
comfy,
Thank you guys.
Last question for you. Meta. Do you enjoy the meta right now?
I think jungle meta is weird. I think every jungler kept getting nerfs every patch, but the thing is that the meta wasn't actually changing. You're still seeing Wukong, you're still seeing like Volibear or Viego even sometimes, but they've all been nerfed. So you're still playing the exact same champs in jungle, but just worse. They're just weaker. So jungle's weird right now, to be honest. I think junglers that pull out the Lilia and the AP junglers are brave, because I think AD mids are not in the best spot, but Dusty are really good at that, right? So props to them. Like we saw today. I mean, jungle meta is really stale. I hope they buff some junglers, because at the moment it's pretty boring to play. But you know, it is what it is, basically.
It's really funny how there was like a little nerf buff remove on the LEC or something.
Jungle,
and everyone was like, nerf jungle, nerf jungle, nerf jungle.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, it's too boring.
So my question to you is, what is the champion that you would like to see back on the meta, or you would like to play in the current meta if it was allowed?
Don't say Graves.
Oh, Graves is actually kind of. I want to see more Lilia. I feel like she's not in a bad spot, but I do want to see more Lilia. I like Lilia a lot, but I think she got hit recently because of the tank build with Conqueror. It was so broken. But I like that champion, you know, and I abuse it. So if Lilia gets buffed, I'm happy.
Okay, let's see if she gets buff. I hope no, but thank you so much for this interview, Sof.
See you guys.
Love to talk with you. Have a nice one.
See ya.
See.
I love how you spotted the cow blanket.
I'm always looking, I'm always judging. And at this point...
Are you a Virgo by any chance? Are you a Virgo by any chance?
No.
We Virgos are very judgy.
Oh.
I'm judging you right now, chat.
I don't know how the moon was when I was born, but I didn't look up. I was kind of busy. Now, the game is over, and this was a complicated one for MNM. Obviously, they're looking for relegations. They are aware of that as well. But the mentality seems good for the teams. They seem stable as well. This is going to help them. And even though I was casting Division 2 and talking with a lot of players in Division 2, they were saying, we don't want to face MNM because they're an unpredictable team.
Man, the thing about MNM is like they're the best of the worst teams. Like, I don't know how to put it the best, but they've literally lost 3 games back to back to back against top of the table teams out of their own mistakes. So the skill is there, the macro is there, the plan is there. It's just sometimes executional mistakes that really hinder their performance and take away their Ws.
And I will say, I played on a team with Sof. It was my first ERL team, right? And this man has like mental of steel. He won't crack. So even though we had a rough end to our split, he kept trying, kept trying to find a way to win. Perfect team player.
Let's see if it's going to help throughout the rest of the split or even relegations if they end up there, because Vanir can still take that place. Moving on, we need to see that play that caught our eyes and we're like, this cannot be possible. With the play of the day by MasterCard.
Damn, I think this might just be a wombo combo.
It is.
And of course it is going to be no other than Dusty's Linkus and Buckler linking up so well right there. The 4-man Diana ult into the 4-man Yasuo ult into the 4-man Moonlight Vigil by Aphelios. I think right there, yeah, Dusty pretty much asserted the dominance through our pressing.
Nobody is paying attention to this team and this will bite them in the ankles. I think...
NDXL who?
Who? Dusty. You were selling them really high when we started the show today.
Yeah, I have watched a disturbing amount of NLC in the past 4 days, and I keep seeing Dusty outplay in situations where they just should not. The quality of their skirmishing and fighting, I just think they're a fantastic team. So well-rounded, amazing win conditions through their laners who are fantastic. Every single one of them is so good mechanically. I just think they're amazing.
And we keep talking about that, but so might as well show you how the standings are right now so you can understand where Dusty are. They're right behind Riddle with the same score. So one victory will not only put them above Riddle, but at the same spot as JDXL. For the first time, JDXL might lose that first place. And at the bottom, we have the 6-9 for NYYRIKKI, still 2 games away from Bifrost. They're looking really good. Outside of that, these entire teams are locked in for playoffs. We just need to decide Bifrost and NYYRIKKI.
To be very clear here, for NYYRIKKI to reach Bifrost, NYYRIKKI have to win all 3 games, and Bifrost have to lose all 3 games. Therefore, NYYRIKKI take the 6th place and Bifrost fall 7th. Now, if the case is that they tie with each other, I'm not sure what the head-to-head looks like there, but this is like worst case scenario, right? What you need here to happen is, we heard it also from the interview with NYYRIKKI, Bifrost, unfortunately, for NYYRIKKI, need to lose all 3 games, which means that it's not in NYYRIKKI's hands. All that is in NYYRIKKI's hands is to win the rest of the 3 games that have remaining this split.
Final thoughts for you on the standings?
Yeah, final thoughts between Bifrost and NYYRIKKI. I am not convinced, this might sound like flame, but I'm not convinced in Bifrost just through a win against JDXL.
Okay.
This might sound like flame towards XL, but I do think they were having either an off day or something went wrong.
Happy game.
Yeah, happy game. I am actually much more faithful still to NYYRIKKI. I think they look way more consistent right now.
So Dusty will win the summer split,
Yes.
and NYYRIKKI will make playoffs.
Yeah.
I like this guy.
What?
Hey, it's about power.
Dusty first or second? I think first. We'll see.
Something is going to happen, and something will happen as well right now. It is the return
Dun, 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 dun.
pick. Ben.
We have the graphic as well.
Dodge, you got the graphic as well.
Okay, you know what the funny thing is?
I'm happy.
We have a fantastic producer today filling in for our main producer. He's like, how about we bring back the game? And I'm like, you know what they say in Greece? In Greece we say, when the mouse is not present, the mice have a party. So we brought it back for your eyes only. We're sneaking it in from our producer. So enjoy.
It's really cool because when we were talking in the green room, it came in like, what about Pick Ben Dodge? And everybody, wait. We've heard about that name ages ago. So how does this game work?
He was a legend.
You guys can participate as well on the chat. So we're going to show a play, and you either have to pick it, ban it, or dodge. You just need to type in your answer. And what does this mean? It was an amazing play. I would like to pick it. I would like to see more of that on my solo queue. Oh, I didn't like that. I would probably dodge it if I saw it again. I'm uninstalling League of Legends. I don't want to see that play anymore in my life. So you can participate as well, and we're going to do it at the same time. So as soon as we see the play, we're going to pick a card. We don't show it to each other. And on the count of 3,
Okay.
bam.
Okay.
Okay? Ready?
Sounds good.
Ready, Trouble?
Yep.
Let's revisit old times with the first play of the Pick, Van, Dodge. On a post game. What? Oh, we have sound effects as well. Kevo,
We do.
Zaremba,
Oh my God,
David,
I love this circus music, by the way.
Stefan.
Oh, I remember what the...
Oh, no.
Oi, oi. Oh, I know.
Oh.
From the skies.
Boom.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh,
no, 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 no.
no, no. Oi, oi, oi.
I have
Come on,
my
man.
card
Okay,
ready.
I got it. I'm locked in.
Okay, you
I'm
do the
locked in as well.
countdown.
I'm locked
3,
in.
2, 1.
Are we
Ben,
unanimous?
and
Are
you
you guys
dodge.
real? Are you
Yeah.
guys real?
Nah. If I see someone diving a Tom Kench and there's a Galio on my game and you feed
Yeah.
Galio, I'm gonna ban you. I'm gonna leave.
It's like they forgot Galio existed. Like, unacceptable. Ban.
Oh,
In a meta where tower dives barely exist, you condemn people for trying to play the game dumb aggressive and not scale for 40 minutes. I'm dodging. I'm not
I'm
picking.
letting
I'm
you
dodging.
know that the chat
It's
is
not the worst.
on trouble side.
On
The
dodge.
chat is on dodge. I mean, you guys have a mental of
wasn't the
steel.
worst. It wasn't the worst.
Mental of steel chat. I dig it.
I never FF. I never tilt. I never FF. No.
I always do. Second play of the day. Let's see what we have for Pick, Ban, Dodge.
Oh, what? Oh, it's
Another
Singularity.
music. I love this music, by the way.
Oh, Singularity getting a pick. Pick.
Mikey sings. It's a new skin for Seraphim.
Let's not hear this ever again.
Oh, you.
It's fine. Oh, you. You do sound like M-Test now, by the way.
I'm channeling my M-Test.
Whose perspective are we on? Are we...
Okay, decide on the perspective.
You choose. Okay.
What perspective do you want to see?
Like, I honestly thought it wasn't... Oh, I stopped speaking. I've got to show it with my cards.
All right, ready.
I'm ready. 1, 2, 3.
Pick.
Oh, boy.
I'm picking Singularity.
Yeah, me too.
Ah.
For having the guts to go in there and get that pick on the Nautilus. And even though they lost, they played a valiant game, they had a valiant effort, S+.
I changed my mind. You sold.
Was my speech good?
Yeah, it was
Ah!
actually good.
I think, considering how far behind they were, you know, I'll take the team fight that they did get in the end.
You know what? And the chat is on your side again. Pick.
Damn.
So
Hey, maybe I'm signed in all of my profiles. You don't know that.
what is happening? How many plays do we have? I think we have 2 more. So, third play of the day. Chat, get ready for the third one. And bring me that music.
Oh, no, it's from the last game. All right.
Oh, okay. I know what to do.
Oh,
I know what to do.
Brilliant.
Ricky,
Ah.
you have families.
This is more take him out to dinner first than...
Oi, time goes wide.
You know what? You know what replay we should have had?
Oh, Sof goes in. Sof goes out.
So,
That was fast.
Sof goes in, Sof is gone. What was that magic trick?
I mean,
Okay, before we show what that was, okay, there was one replay where literally, who was it? Banderas on the Jace is chasing in hammer form. Kalem, who's in Midina form, literally all the way from mid lane bush into blue quadrant of the jungle, wrapping around in the tribus. You just see the Jace just chasing the Midina
Come
around
here,
this
little
entire
Timo.
And all I kept thinking while this was happening is...
that's the new season for Arcane, by the way. I'm just letting you know, Chimera, you're not that charming, I guess, because
know
it
what?
didn't work. So I'm going to...
That was not a Luden's Echo Magi's Ari.
Am I supposed to show my card?
Yeah.
Pick.
Nah, that was not a Luden's Echo Magi's Ari. Therefore, you cannot even scratch their failures. Therefore, ban on
I
Chimera.
don't know how you do it, by the way. Chat is 50-50 between pick and ban. She's signing in with all those accounts. I don't know what is happening. Chat, she didn't bring in donuts, okay? She will not give you donuts. It's a lie. The donut is a lie. Just letting you know.
I thought that was a great TP flank.
It was.
So, you know what? Pick, honestly.
I
Hey,
really
we choose our perspective.
I love the idea that you see Sof, and then it's like, and he's dead.
On magic trick.
It's a new skin. Final play of the day for Big Ben Lodge, and I was told this is a spicy one, so production, hit it
Please
away.
let it be Banderas chasing Caleb around the map. Okay, it's not.
Okay, Fury.
Oh, no.
I need help. Oh,
This hurts. This hurts. I don't think we even need to show our cards, to be honest. I mean, you can't.
Is it safe now?
It's safe. You can come
Is it
out.
safe?
Don't worry. MNS is not going to grief your games. Don't worry.
These are the games that I'm playing top, and I see my mid laner 0-6.
Listen, man. If I am in this team right now, this is solo queue, and this guy runs down five times into mid lane, I'm filing a report.
Now, I know people will say, but your account, you have 11 years on those accounts.
Obviously, we're
The
like
skins.
kids.
Don't rage quit, you'll be banned. I have better things to do in my life than do that. I'm out. I'm out. See ya. You agree with me?
Yeah, 100%.
Exclusively banned 100% chat. Do you know how hard it is to put the chat on one side only? He did it. He united chat.
Everyone banned.
He saved the world. This is not the hero we wanted. This is the hero we deserved. I missed Pick Ban Dodge. I missed it. Thank you, production. Thank you so much. And thank you, chat, for going along with this weird ride on the post-show. Let's look into the schedule of the next day. Match day 15. Only 3 to go before we hit playoffs. It's going to be Riddle. Oh, Riddle versus Dusty. Ah, this is gonna be good. MNM Gaming versus Bifrost. Bifrost needs to win this one. JDXL versus Team Singularity. If the curse continues, I don't know. X7 versus NYYRIKKI. NYYRIKKI last shot to make playoffs. And then Vanir last shot as well versus the Rising Star. Pick a game and tell me why is it gonna be good.
I want to see MNM versus Bifrost because this is a test, honestly, for Bifrost that when they're not against I was about to say an Inting XL, but a team that looks okay. I think if I see them win,
Let go now. They're already dead. Stop hitting.
if I do see Bifrost win against MNM, I'll be more convinced.
Okay, what is your game?
You've been betting on the horse called Dusty, and you don't want to see the one game that will take them away from Riddle? I mean, all the money's
We'll
here.
decide first and second
And
place.
first game of the day as well.
Why would
Literally
I-
have second place decider. If Singularity picks Lily again, they will most likely beat JDXL with how they've been showing the last 2 games. And then Dusty gets to have first place. It's a genius plan.
I mean, I just wasn't too hyped because I think it's a Dusty Stomp, right?
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
joining the memes. What have we done? What have we
Ruined
created? We've ruined him.
It's been 6 hours and we've ruined him already.
Final thoughts of the day. Tell me, what do you expect of NLC? Was it fun? It was really fun to have you on the show, by the way.
Super enjoyable. I'm really looking forward to Wednesday to continue.
Well, that's a spoiler. He's going to be with us on Wednesday.
I wanted to
What about
say
you?
also a big thank you to our producer who's filling in on the NLC.
Yeah.
He's usually the Prime League producer. We don't usually like Prime League, but we like him. So thank you so much for chiming in and helping with today.
I will now follow Prime League just because of you. That's all I can do. That's all for us today. I hope you enjoyed today's show, Match Day 15. So log in tomorrow for Division 2 and Wednesday for Match Day 16. It's going to be the last one before the last week before playoffs for the Northern League of Legends Championship before we head out to European Masters and we conquer Europe or lose to LFL. I'll see you soon. Keep climbing the mountain. Dame, dame.